G'day, it's Stevic from 12 Ninja here. And look, if you like American football, you should check out Saints Happy Hour podcast. I personally know fuck all about American football, other than it's a bunch of massive blokes wearing spandex, shoulder pads and helmets, running around with throwing a football. In Australia, you don't throw footballs. You punch it or you kick it. And there's no protection. They're all naked. And there's sharks and crocodiles fired out of cannons onto the field, and we all stand around and drink blood watching it. But if American football's your thing, you know what to do. Saints Happy Hour podcast. Stick it in your ear hole.
All right, everybody, welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. We got a great show for you today. We are going to talk about what the Saints need to do with the rest of the roster now that the draft is over. We're going to talk about why the NFL draft might have put Taysom Hill's future in doubt. And we're going to talk about what the Saints could offer for Aaron Rodgers since he's pissed off at the Packers and is threatening to go host Jeopardy. Dave, Andrew, how was your Mother's Day today?
Good. I don't get to see my mom, which is sad. She's in New Orleans and I'm in Virginia, but we shared a little FaceTime. She got to see the grandkids and all that, and I sent her some goodies. And obviously Mother's Day takes on significance with your wife once you have kids. So it was good.
I'm in New Orleans, and I actually took Andrew's mother out for Mother's Day tonight. Actually, no.
They live very close to each other.
Yes, that's right.
To a nice seafood restaurant.
Yeah, to the Galley. I'll take her to the Galley seafood restaurant on Metairie Road. Are you kidding me? I can't even afford that place. Mine was fine too. Yeah, we went out to brunch with the family and Aaron's mother and father. So
remember to find
the
us.
Pelicans were missing like their entire roster.
Oh my god!
Somehow won a game, so that made it a good Mother's Day.
My God, the poor Pelicans. They win a game. They get to one game behind the 10th spot for the play-in, and then literally it all falls apart within 10 minutes. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our channel on the YouTube, and become a patron. We're the best Saints podcast on earth. Sorry, I blew the open again, Thomas. I apologize.
No worries.
Here's the thing that I want to talk about when we start, and this is an interesting question that I thought of when I saw Bomani Jones tweeted out about Taysom Hill, and he was just saying, Andrew, hey, it's really interesting that Sean Payton, he loved Taysom Hill. They paid Taysom Hill all this money, but apparently the Saints, they were lusting for Mac Jones more than, say, Josh Fields. Now, I know your attitude might be, hey, the Saints, they just like quarterbacks with different skill sets and that sort of thing. But I do find it interesting that the Saints have decided we knew they weren't committed in any way to Winston or Taysom Hill, really. But trying to trade up for Mac Jones, man, I'm seriously thinking that Taysom Hill, like his future in the NFL as a quarterback, could be seriously in doubt after 2021 because Jameis, even if he bombs with the Saints, like he can go off and be a backup quarterback and do other things and do that. And just, if he wants to do that the rest of his career, be like Ryan Fitzpatrick and just bounce from team to team and do that. Taysom Hill, like, I don't know that other teams are going to do with him what the Saints do. Like, his career is really, really at a crossroads, maybe in 2021.
How about that? I mean, I go back to what we said about what Jameis 1 of 1 said when he came on the show, and I think he's totally right, which is that Taysom Hill proved that he's a number 2 quarterback. That sounds like an insult, but I think that's accurate. Like, at the very least, he went 3-1 with the Saints. He won some games. Yep. He beat Atlanta twice. And right now, like, his salary, he's slotted in between what would be a premium backup, which tend to get, like in the $7-8 million a year range, and a starter, which would be over $20 million a year, and he makes $14 million. So he's kind of slotted in between starter and deluxe backup. And so that's like kind of his value estimation right now. And I think the thinking there is, well, you're a backup, but you actually play, which most backup quarterbacks don't. And so that's why he's making somewhere in between. And I think after this year, if it's proven that he's not a starter, maybe he just goes back to being a deluxe backup for someone else where he makes 7 or 8 million. But
Ooh, you think but that's my point. I don't know that a team, Dave, would treat him as a deluxe backup. Like Teddy Bridgewater, the Saints, they were paying him $7-8 million. Fitzpatrick, maybe. I don't know that if Taysom goes to another team in 2022, they may pay him like $3 to $5 million. I don't know that he's going to get deluxe backup money. He might get regular backup money. And if Winston gets hurt or whatever, or struggles, and they put Taysom in and he struggles too, like I could see him getting less than regular backup money.
You're talking about after next season.
Yeah, I'm talking after this season comes.
like let's say he never plays quarterback other than his usual fill-in stuff.
Yeah.
Like Jameis wins the battle, Jameis is a starter, and Taysom's just the Swiss Army.
I don't know. I think you'll have some team that wants to give it a whirl, or I don't know. I want to go back to, you guys did a whole podcast on the whole Mac Jones thing, the trading up thing. And in fact, that's why we're talking about this now, because you guys both think that the fact that the Saints wanted to trade up so badly for Mac Jones means that they're not confident in any of their quarterbacks, or especially.
That's 100% correct.
Okay. I don't see it that way at all. The story is that the Saints didn't want to give up their third round pick. To me, that makes it seem like they only like him. If they loved him, if they thought he was the guy, they would have given up that third round pick. What would they have held on to that extra pick for?
Their third first round pick, you mean?
No, didn't they want to give? They wanted the third first round pick. Oh, I thought they wanted all three of. Oh, okay, I'm
right. So the Saints were willing to part with their 2022 first round pick to go get.
I don't know.
And the third first is where Loomis was like, yeah, that's kind of steep.
I don't know, but if you think he's I guess my point still stands. Like if you were really sold on this guy, if you really thought that this was the guy, I see Loomis and Peyton being the kind of team which is just fuck it, and they go for it and they get it. I mean, when Peyton wants his guys, he gets his guys.
I do think.
In a way, I feel like yeah, they liked him. Yes, they definitely wanted to get him, but they weren't so.
They weren't 100% convinced that he changes the franchise. I agree.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I do think Dave makes an interesting point, and not that they were willing to trade, multiple first round picks to get him.
I mean, the fact remains, if they were willing to give up 2 firsts to get Mac Jones, when Taysom and Jameis are in the building, then Taysom or Jameis, one of them might work out, but the Saints aren't banking on it. They're willing to part with 2 firsts to make sure they get another quarterback in the building. That means they don't believe in those guys.
Well, and it also means that almost whatever if they would have traded for Mac Jones and given up, say they wouldn't have had to give up the 2023 first, even if they'd have still given up the 2022 first, there's almost no scenario where Mac Jones wouldn't be the starter in 2022. Like Jameis would have had to win the goddamn Super Bowl, because any other scenario, like the Saints would have been like, thanks Jameis, we're moving it along. So Dave, the only thing I'll say to your point that makes me a little more sympathetic than maybe Andrew is, when the Saints were thinking about taking Patrick Mahomes in 2011. Now I know they wouldn't have had to give up more first, but Andrew, they had a gaping crater chasm at corner in 2017, and if Patrick Mahomes would have been there, they'd have taken him. So that's how much they believed in Patrick Mahomes. They were like, we love him so much, we don't even give a shit about corner at 11 when we can get Lattimore. We're taking Mahomes. So I do think there's a case to be made. Yeah, they really liked Mac Jones, but they didn't think it was at all cost, we must acquire him.
I mean, when you talk about 3 firsts, though, that's almost more than what the Saints gave up for Ricky Williams, right?
I mean, you better be Jesus Christ if you're giving up 3 firsts.
I mean, how much did they give up for Ricky? They gave up
no,
an
you're
entire
giving
draft and then a first the subsequent year, right?
You're really giving up 2 firsts because your first this year. I mean, you're moving up.
Oh my God.
So you're giving up your 2 future first round picks. That's what you're giving.
No,
you're trading 3 first round picks.
The argument the draft
for the
nerds
right to
make
draft
is
that
you're
guy.
only giving up 1 because you moved up and blah. But I will say this: the crazy thing about the Ricky Williams trade is Cincinnati turned down Ditka. Ditka was going to give them the entire 99 draft, their first and second in 2000, and their first round pick in 2001. Cincinnati said, no thanks. We got to take Akili Smith.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Just for
Dave doesn't want us to call Marcus 2 first anymore. He wants us to call him Marcus 1 first and the right to move up in that round.
No, he's Marcus. He's Marcus 2 first, Dave.
Yeah,
that's
you're
his
right.
name.
You're right. That rolls way better off the tongue, Dave. You're right. That's
Here's a question though. What does Marcus 2 first have to do to not be Marcus 2 firsts? What does he have to do to become Marcus
10 sacks? He's got to get double-digit sacks at least.
Seriously.
And it's got to be Matt Ryan multiple times.
I mean, really, like it can't be like. Don't give me this 5 sack season thing. Don't give me this thing where it's like, oh yeah, he's taking a step. It's like it's been 4 freaking years. Like he's out of steps. Okay, he's at the top, and he's either going over the ledge or he's gonna keep walking and he's gonna keep climbing. But like that's like
you know what he's gonna have. He's gonna have the 6 sack season where everyone's like, yeah, but look at his QB affection rate, or just like something dumb where you're just like, he has
something
6
dumb
sacks.
like a RAS score.
Yeah, like a RAS score.
Like a RAS.
Well,
look at his pressures though, Dave. His pressures are at an all-time high.
Well, I mean, there is something to be said about getting pressures, but like
his hurries, yeah.
Were either of you surprised that they picked up his option for they picked up the 5th-year option?
Yes and no. I mean, like, no, because it's a fairly cheap. You get a defensive end. You need a defensive end. You need all the help you can get, but I don't know. I was a little surprised, I guess.
Well, it's a good segue because Andrew, now that the Saints are done, they're done with the draft, right? And we'll talk about the draft a little bit more. But when you look at this roster and you go into training camp and basically, if you're a longtime listener of this podcast or you're not, basically our attitude is once you get through the draft, from now until the Saints start camp, 9 out of 10 times whenever the Saints have news, it's going to be bad. It's either a player getting arrested or a player getting injured. So they're not going to do too much more, Andrew, probably. But as you look at this roster, if veterans shake loose, if we're starting to see it, Dallas made some cuts, other teams. What do you think the Saints might do? But more importantly, what do you want them to do if they have a couple moves left in them before training camp, which they will have to do because they got to create $5.5 million of cap space to sign picks. So they're going to have to do a little bit of something. But what do you want them to do, and what do you expect them to do?
I mean, there's a lot of positions on this roster I still don't feel great about. I'd probably start at defensive tackle. That's where I feel the worst. They don't have a run stuffer. Shai Tuttle is your starter next to Onyemata. And after that, I guess it's Dave's UDFA son, Malcolm Roach, Ryan Glasgow. I mean, who's after that in the rotation? So I'm not liking it. Like, I want a veteran. I want more competition at defensive tackle. Look, number 2 corner, like, is it Debo starting? Is that what we're doing right now? Patrick Robinson? Linebacker?
Let me ask you this, Andrew.
Look, I mean, at least Pete Werner and Zach Bond, like, maybe one of them works out. So, like, I'm more hopeful with that.
I have an important question to ask you, Andrew. Do you feel as bad about the Saints at defensive tackle as you do about your stomach right now after that soft shell crab you ate and you're worried that you have food poisoning? What do you feel worse about, defensive tackle or your stomach right now?
Defensive tackle. It almost makes me want to vomit.
And after listening to Andrew, really not feeling so great about this season. I'm not very confident.
Well, is that too negative for you, Dave?
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Jesus.
We need to sign some guys. We need to
Tone it
sign some
down.
guys.
They need to make. They
did sign a defensive tackle, but it's like, I don't know, it's like some guy I've never heard
they
of.
need to sign Richard Sherman is what they need to do. Because
That
that
helps
will
part of it.
fire
That
us
helps
up.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
Richard Sherman really, Dave, is the perfect May signing. Because he's old, he's decrepit, and he's probably going to be a failure. And if they had done it in March, would be like, what is this nonsense bullshit signing this old corner? But now we're past the draft. We're a little desperate. It's 2 a.m. at the bar. We don't want to go home alone. The lights are about to come on. And Richard Sherman looks really, really good. He's the perfect May signing, Dave, and I want the Saints to sign him. What say you?
He looks really Richard Sherman looks really good right now.
You don't like Albert Huggins, the
Albert
defensive
Huggins,
tackle?
the defensive tackle. No,
Huggy Bear?
He doesn't excite me that much. Richard Sherman looks really good right now. You know, you talk about a Debo, bringing Richard Sherman in, having somebody that's from Stanford bros, similar playing style. You're talking about a veteran who can work with a rookie, help him come along. I mean, that's why now the Richard Sherman thing is way sexier than it was at 10 p.m. when you thought you were going to go home with the that extra hot chick that you saw earlier.
And now
she left with her boyfriend.
You guys want to hear about Albert Huggins' career?
I don't know. Do I?
It is up.
He's been in the league since 2019. He was a UDFA for the Texans.
So
how many NFL how many organizations at one point signed him since 2019? And you guys want to venture a guess?
I'm going to go with 4. 2 more than that? Oh my god.
I'll
Since
go with
2019.
7, 8, 9,
The
12.
New Orleans Saints are Huggins' 9th NFL team.
What?
Since 20.
Holy shit.
He's been on the Texans, the
RAS
Eagles,
score?
the Patriots, back to the Eagles. So sorry, that doesn't count.
He's
Then
NFL's Vince Carter.
Then back to the Texans, then to the Lions, then to the Vikings, then back to the Lions, and now to the Saints. Sorry,
Why?
so that's 9 organizations he's flipped with, but yeah, there's a couple that
Andrew,
went
look up
back
his
to.
RAS score. His RAS score must be over a 10.
Yeah, I will check that out. But he does have
Because-
three. He
wait a
does have
minute.
3. He does have 3 NFL tackles in his career.
Wait a minute. We got to address something right now. The draft is over. Are we going to continue to talk about RAS score?
Well, no, I
throughout the
just
rest of the
Absolutely.
brought up RAS score,
Absolutely.
Dave, because why else would you sign Huggy Bear 9? Why else would 9 teams decide to sign a guy who has 3 NFL tackles? Like, what reason would you have for that other than the dude is like Adonis? He must be like workout warrior RAS score king.
Yeah, his RAS score is bad. 5.4.
Oh, my theory got blown up.
Dave should love this guy. His RAS sucks. He's like, maybe this is the defensive tackle they've needed all along. And Dave, maybe you should mute yourself.
You mean unmute myself?
Yeah, that too.
Maybe he's like a locker room leader. You know, maybe he's like
He's
Rudy.
like the Chase. He's
It
like
is-
Chase Daniel at defensive tackles.
It is interesting when these
everybody
guys
loves
keep
to have him
finding
around.
NFL teams. They just keep bouncing around, and everyone wants to look, but they don't stick anywhere. He did go to Clemson. He won a couple national titles, I think. So I don't know. Maybe teams like winners.
I don't know. Whew, boy.
The other big
be
Saints
interesting.
thing this week, it wasn't per se a Saints move, but Josh Hill, he went to the Lions and he was with the Lions for like 3 weeks, Andrew, and then he was like, "Nah, peace out, I'm retiring." And Josh Hill, he's one of my favorites because every time he did something, I got to throw up the Jonah Hill screaming gif, which made me happy. But also, Andrew, when I think of him, I think about every time that dude got a concussion or got hurt, and he got hurt a lot. Sean Payton after the game was always like, man, Josh Hill got hurt and it sent us into chaos. And we had to like figure out what to do. And because of that, I always think back to the 2018 NFC Championship game. He got injured. Ben Watson had appendicitis. They were playing Garrett Griffin at tight end and Dan Arnold, and it didn't go well. I mean, I know Bill Vinovich cost the Saints a title, but Josh Hill, man, he was a cog that like most fans didn't think of him as like critically important, but he was very, very like underrated, not in skill to fans or media, but like importance to the Saints.
Yeah, look, he was out of Idaho State, undrafted rookie at the time when the Saints picked him, and he lasted 8 years. So I think anytime you get an undrafted rookie out of Idaho State and they carve out a niche role for themselves that lasts 8 years, I mean, that's tremendous service. And he was a great blocker, an underrated player. He scored 15 touchdowns in his career with the Saints, so not bad. He saw the end zone a good bit. But I love Josh Hill. I mean, how could you not?
Oh, and Dave, I had forgotten, Dave, that the Bears tried to steal him.
That's right.
And Loomis went full Loomis math to keep him, didn't he?
Was that when he was? No, was that when he was a restricted free agent? Did we
Yes.
We tagged him with the highest.
We tagged him, and the Bears signed him
round.
to a 2-year deal, and the Saints quickly matched.
Yeah.
And I remember Sean Payton saying, well, yeah, I was glad the Bears did our work for us. We got him for 2 years instead of 1. So he kind of stuck it to the Bears. I remember that. But
it was a thing where at first I think fans were like, oh, whatever, Josh Hill, and the Saints were like, no, we're keeping him. We're going to do all these cap shenanigans because he's important. Like, so it was just.
Yeah, somebody in the Discord this week said this, and I saw Jason Champagne just put up playoff Josh Hill. And listen, anytime you got playoff as a nickname, I think that says it all. He had some special moments in the postseason, and anyway, best of luck to him in retirement. He's one of those guys that I think, similar to Steve Gleason, he's kind of unsung. He kind of does the dirty work, and he's not necessarily like the guy that's going to have 1,000 yards or have the big touchdown catch in the 2-minute drill. He's kind of the behind the scenes hard worker guy. So I think he's been a fan favorite for some, like a niche player that people love. And so yeah, it's sad to see him retire.
The other thing
I am glad I don't have to watch him in another uniform though. That'll be nice.
Yeah, but I kind of wish Detroit was an AFC team just because Dan Campbell is fun. They have Aaron Glenn. Like they're doing some fun stuff. I kind of wish they were an AFC team. Then it would be, it'd be easier to root for them. Dave, the other interesting thing is we mentioned about the Saints roster holes, but the other interesting thing that besides the Saints trying to trade up for a corner and wanting Mac Jones, the other interesting thing in the draft was the Saints apparently, or Carolina thought the Saints were all prepared to take LSU receiver Terrence Marshall.
Go Tigers.
At 60, and Carolina was like, no. We're going to take him at 59, which me and Andrew lamented before the show. We're like, that would have been great to have an LSU receiver on the Saints. But part of me also is like, Terrence Marshall, he apparently has leg issues and that sort of thing. Could this be another thing that Loomis wanted to do that we add to his long list of it worked out that it was a move that he couldn't make because Terrence Marshall, his leg's going to fall off or something?
No, I think Loomis knew about Terrence Marshall's issues, and he put the fake news out there that they wanted Terrence Marshall,
Totally,
and knew the Panthers were going to get greedy and were going to get back at him, and force the Panthers to draft the guy, and Saints got the guy they wanted anyway.
Yeah, I could see
4D chess.
I could see Loomis and Payton.
Chess.
I could see Loomis and Payton being in a room and just being like, "Hey, you know how we never take LSU players because we freaking hate them? How funny would it be if we make the Panthers think we're about to take Terrace Marshall? Yeah,
Go
right.
Tigers.
The
But
one
how
thing
fun would that have been, Ralph, to have Terrace Marshall on the Saints?
It would have
I'm
been. Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
bummed to read that because, like,
listen.
I don't know.
Well, we would have to listen to Ralph call him Terrence Marshall for
True.
4
Go
years.
Tigers.
I mean, it would have been listen. You know me. I wanted Cox. I wanted Marshall.
Yeah, I'll bet you wanted Cox.
Oh, you
I
wanted
do.
Cox
I
already.
want Cox.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
There could be another.
Ralph
could be another-
wanted Cox. Did you ever
can
stop
always
though? Is it past tense, or do you still want Cox?
I still want him. I mean, he might work.
Okay.
He might not work out for Dallas. I always want Cox. So
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Thomas liked that joke.
I think I want Cox is just going to be a sound drop more so than check the timestamp. Of all the Saints draft, of all the draft nonsense that I heard, Andrew, and read, and Dave was saying that the NFL.com had the Saints ranked 32nd out of 32nd. Of all the nonsense that I read about the Saints draft, the one that drove me up the wall the most was Dan Pompei for The Athletic. He's talking to a personnel guy, and he's like, I would have liked the Saints draft better if they would have taken Pete Werner in the first and Peyton Turner in the second. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, what does it matter if you took one in the first and one in the second? Like, if you like both of the players, you like them. Like, the order doesn't matter. I understand. Like, it would make more sense if you're like, I hate Pete Werner. They shouldn't take him there. Like, if you like both of the players, then it's fine. Like, maybe you got Pete Werner around too late and you got Peyton Turner around too early. Like, that's the dumbest draft shit I've ever heard. But is there anything, before we get to my lust for Aaron Rodgers, is there any draft take that you saw that just drove you mad?
I mean, just in general, shit is really negative about the Saints, starting with Dave Cariello over here, this guy above me.
Yeah.
But I just think, look, there's a lot of negative press. I mean, you just said it. NFL.com says the Saints had the 32nd best draft, or the worst, if you prefer. We'll see. I mean, everybody seems convinced this draft was awful, including Saints fans. So I look forward to this draft class proving a lot of people wrong. Hopefully.
I don't know. I think people are warming up. People are warming up to it, I think.
You think so?
Because you have to.
You have to.
I
you
mean,
have to. It's like we said. Like if the Saints had taken Mac Jones, Ralph and I both would have puked, and then immediately, it would have probably taken us Ralph, 10 minutes to get on.
No, it would have taken
7?
me. It would have taken me reading your film breakdown of Mac Jones like the next 3 days later. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, Andrew's
they're winning a Super
got
Bowl.
5 gifs of Mac Jones making great throws. It'll be okay.
Mac Jones, he would have been like the guy where it's like he went to Alabama every time he throws a pick, and every time he leads the Saints to a 2-minute, drive where they win in the final seconds. Then he is, a Pro Bowl quarterback, is Saint for life.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't apologize for that. I talked myself into Vinny Sinceri. Do you think I couldn't talk myself into Mac Jones? I talked myself into Kyrie Fort, for God's sakes, and Ronald Powell. And Ronald Powell, he didn't have knees. He literally didn't have any knee ligaments, and I talked myself into him. You don't think I could talk myself into Mac Jones? Get out of here with that. Dave.
Vinny Sinceri.
Bill Barnes.
Forgot about him.
They really thought he was going to revamp the whole special teams unit.
I mean, he's not even in the league anymore, right?
No,
he's an assistant coach for the Patriots.
Seriously?
Yeah. Dave, Bill Barnwell wrote a 5,000-word column on trade possibilities for Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't have the Saints, which I was offended by.
Who did he have?
He had the Giants and
Giants, huh?
Denver, the Raiders, Philadelphia. He had like 6 teams. And Brett Favre actually, I guess, was on some podcast, and he said that he told Aaron Rodgers, he's like, you probably end up playing for the Saints. And I don't know how, but that'll cost the Saints a 2022 draft pick. But Dave, if
Rodgers,
Aaron
by the way,
Rodgers
responded to that text message and said he didn't think that was very likely.
yeah. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but the Saints will lose a draft pick over it.
Yeah, he said, "Hey,
But
buddy,
Dave,
I don't believe that's going to happen."
But if the Saints, because Sean Payton said, hey, maybe some other things at quarterback will come open. Maybe that was drafting Ian Book. But if Aaron Rodgers came available and you were Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton said, hey, Mickey, come together with a package. Let's try to make this happen. How YOLO would you go if you were the Saints to try to get Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, look, we were talking earlier about trading first-round picks. I would certainly give them 2 first-round picks. I would give them the 2022, and I'd give them the 2023 first-round pick. I've seen people discuss this before, and they seem to think that a top-tier player needs to be included, like a Ryan Ramczyk or a Michael Thomas. I mean, I would prefer not to, give away somebody like that.
Well, let's ask this first. So he's 37 years old. How many years left does Rodgers?
Is he? That's my thing. Is like, you're talking about a short-term solution. You're not talking and it's like so expensive when you could use your 2022 first-round draft pick and just draft a quarterback and hope for the best, and he plays for 4 years. If he's good, you've got him for 5 years, real cheap.
Yeah, but if you're a ready-made team, though, Dave, like if you're Denver or you're the Saints who don't have a surefire hit at quarterback, and you feel like our roster is ready to win a Super Bowl, like if the Saints could give up a 2022, and if I told you, Andrew, the Saints they'll get Aaron Rodgers and they'll give up a 2022 first, a 2023 first, and a 2023 second, and they'll be in the NFC Championship 2 years in a row, and then Aaron Rodgers is hurt and he's done. Would you do the deal? I'm not going to tell you if they win or lose the NFC Championship, just that they're in it 2 straight years. Would you do that deal?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're 1 game from the Super Bowl. If you don't tell me what happens, if you're just like, you get Aaron Rodgers and whatever happens, I probably don't, because I trust that with those picks, the Saints can. I don't know, man. It just 2 years to me. Like if you're gonna give up that much, I would hope to at least get 4 years out of a guy, 3 or 4 years. And he's the reigning MVP, so he's still really good. How much longer could he? And Chris actually just posted this. I was going to mention this next, and I totally agree with this. Aaron Rodgers is like Teddy Bridgewater is a very coachable player. Like everything I've seen from Jameis Winston is he's very agreeable and like an affable guy. Taysom Hill has been willing to do anything the Saints ask of him, including going on special teams. And Drew Brees is like the least egotistical quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
See, I think Aaron Rodgers needs an arrogant son of a bitch to coach him. Like, I think part of that, like Aaron Rodgers has believed I'm smarter than Mike McCarthy. I'm smarter than LeFleur or whoever that guy is.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's possible.
He needs an arrogant jerk to match his arrogance. I think Sean Payton would be.
So you think he would respect him?
I think he would.
See,
because Sean Payton would be
think
like,
that could go either
I've
way.
won just as many Super Bowls as you.
I think there would be a risk that it would be combustible.
I'm with Ralph.
Here's a fun hypothetical.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is arrogant. I think all of his clashing that he's done with his coaches in the past is because like he's always kind of been like the Peyton Manning quarterback, where he's kind of like calling the plays, and it's almost like Aaron Rodgers' offense. And when LaFleur came in, I think that changed things a lot, and that changed the dynamic. And I don't think that Rodgers is happy with the new dynamic. And I mean, and obviously, you have to have Peyton and Rodgers would have a talk and a deep dive discussion about how things would operate if they were going to bring Rodgers on board. But I mean, I think Peyton would be okay with a guy like. I mean, Brees is out there. I mean, Brees was running that offense. I mean, just as much as Peyton was, and had tons of input. And I think Rodgers would be a natural fit for Peyton.
Here's a question for you, Dave, because I like to throw the hypotheticals at you because you get weird just like me. Here's a hypothetical. Would you rather? I'll give you Aaron Rodgers, Saints trade for him. I'll give you one Super Bowl win, or you get Jameis Winston. He plays for the Saints for 10 years, and he gets into Canton, but I don't guarantee you a Super Bowl. What do you want?
You got to take Jameis.
I mean, wait, Jameis Winston is going to get into Canton without winning a Super Bowl?
No, I'm not. I'm not telling you if you get a Super Bowl or not. He's going to get into Canton.
He's definitely winning Super Bowl, maybe multiple.
I don't think there's any way that Jameis Winston gets into Canton without winning a Super Bowl.
No chance.
He's going to win a Super Bowl, so I'm going to take Jameis.
Yes.
You wouldn't take the one Super Bowl. You wouldn't.
I'm getting one. I have to be getting one Super Bowl by taking Jameis Winston because there's no way he's getting into Canton without winning at least one Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. Your hypothetical sucks, Ralph.
I mean, you think so, but like, what if Jameis Winston, like, what if he puts up like 4,000-5,000 yard years and like wins like 2 MVPs, but like the Saints like get Vinovich twice?
That is fucking stupid.
You wouldn't take the one. You would rather risk it. I'm giving you one Super Bowl. I'm giving you one guarantee of a Super Bowl. You're pretty sure that Jameis is, if he gets into Canton, he's going to get a Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean,
nah.
I might take the one.
Yeah, if you guarantee me a Super Bowl, I think I have to take it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
Everybody in the chat is agreeing with y'all though. That Jameis can't get into Canton without a Super Bowl.
No chance.
Well, if you talk about insufferable, you think we were bad when the Saints got Vinoviched? Jameis 1 of 1. He might start killing people if the Saints got Vinoviched and Jameis was on the Saints. Andrew, tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not. So another thing, and this gives me a chance, this topic gives me a chance to plug. By the way, guys, we're on Locker Room every Wednesday, and if you didn't check it out live last Wednesday, you should. This is a reason to become a patron just for 1 month. Dave was ridiculous in the Locker Room chat and actually won the argument about how deep down in places we don't want to talk about, we hate the Saints 2021 draft. It was amazing. And if you're a patron, you get the replay, but anybody can listen to it live every Wednesday night at 9:00. And the reason why I bring it up, Dave, is because schedule's coming out Wednesday, the 2021 NFL schedule. How are the Saints going to get fucked by the NFL office?
Oh, I don't know. Which remind me, which divisions are we playing again this season?
The AFC East.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
NFC East, I believe. No. Or is I forget.
Well, they play the Titans. That's their 17th game.
Okay, so they play the.
No,
They
but
play the. No, but that
has nothing to do with the divisions that they.
Let me
play.
look at the Saints schedule.
How are they going to? I don't know. They'll maybe have a few short weeks. I would be disappointed if we didn't have at least 4 primetime games. I would say the Saints are usually good for at least 4, if not 5 or 6.
Yeah, the AFC East, East, and the NFC East. Excuse me. So will you be at FedEx Field, Andrew? They're playing the Washington football team. Will you be making the trip?
Will I be able to go into any stadium?
Oh, stadiums are going to be fucking full.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think stadiums will be if they're not full, they'll be at 50% capacity.
Just
Right,
look at
so-
baseball right now.
So if they're at 50% capacity, then that's a harder ticket to get, and the price goes up and all that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So okay, so the AFC East and the NFC East. So that means they play the Jets and the Giants.
That is correct.
So what do you think they'll do? They'll make both of those away. So the NFL, to screw the Saints, the NFL will make those both away games, and they won't be like back-to-back games, so they could just stay in New York. It'll be like you got to play the Jets.
Well,
and then
one's at home. They play the Jets on the road and the Giants at home.
Oh, we already know which one's away and
Yeah.
which one's home. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they go to Philly. They get Dallas. You can look at the prime time. They're gonna. Andrew.
Do you guys think Saints at Tampa is week 1?
Thursday night.
You think so?
100%. 100%. I mean, because Andrew, you have the built-in. Tampa's the defending champion. They have everybody. But
Oh,
they're the
Jameis,
first team.
yeah.
They have the first team in the salary cap era to have all 22 starters back, and you have Jameis starting for the Saints. Like, the only thing I think that could change it, I guess, is if like Fox would want that game, maybe.
Well, I was gonna say, what if they don't want to do like a division opponent? If they're just like, yeah, you can't do that. I mean, they're non-division home opponents. You've got Buffalo, Josh Allen versus Tom Brady. That could be kind of good. Chicago Bears, Dallas Cowboys. The return of Dak Prescott, maybe. Miami Dolphins, probably not. Although that's an all Florida battle. And then the Giants. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You know what it's gonna be. You know what it's gonna be, Andrew. I would bet you is what will be the. I take it all back. Let me see.
I mean, the opener is rarely a divisional matchup, right?
Well, it was last year though.
It was.
Yeah, we've had openers against.
Oh yeah.
We used to open against the Falcons. There was a time there where we opened against the Falcons a couple of years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the Bucks, they don't. I was gonna say, the season opener for the Bucks would be the Patriots, but they play the Patriots away, and the Super Bowl champion usually gets the privilege of playing the season opener at home.
Yep.
But I mean, the main thing is you don't want cold weather games, right?
Late in the
if
season,
possible.
Yeah.
But the thing is that's so hard, Dave, is like the schedule. You never know. I remember last year when the schedule came out, we were like, oh my God, they play Atlanta 2 out of 4 weeks, and then they go to Denver and they go to Philly, and we were like, oh my God, that's a really hard stretch. And Denver had no quarterbacks because they all got the Rona, and Atlanta was garbage. The Philadelphia game ended up being a problem, but like the schedule, it's just so hard to know. My only thing is, Dave, when I'll look at it, I hate it when the Saints get fucked and they play on a Sunday night. They play a Sunday night primetime game, and
when
then
they
play
on Friday on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, that too.
For no reason at all.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, no. When you don't like it when they have a short week, when they've got a.
Well, no, I just feel like it's one thing to have a short week, but Andrew, I want to say like 3 different times the Saints have played a Sunday night primetime game and played Thursday night. That is like an extra short week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, give us the 1 o'clock game if you're going to do that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the schedule now. There's definitely a lot of opportunities for cold weather games. It's at New England, at the Jets, at Philadelphia, at Seattle, at Tennessee.
Oof. That's 5. That's 5 games. I can't imagine, Andrew. I can't imagine the majority of them being before November 1st. So the Saints will be playing in cold weather. It's an overrated thing, but they're going to be. But we might have the potential, Andrew, for the first Saints snow game in a while.
How does Jameis do in cold weather? I don't even know this information. He's a Florida kid. He's never left Florida. He's never left the South.
Yeah,
Mm.
we don't know.
Oh,
That's a
boy.
good question. Throw it into the chat room. When was the last time the Saints played a snow game? Buffalo with John Forkey. That's the one that pops into my head, but I'm sure I'm missing one. But
Didn't Eagles? The Eagles playoff
the
game
playoff
had
game.
snow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, like, not like that was like it was snowing, but it wasn't like the field was fucking covered in snow and they had to bring out the snowplow to like do the lines.
I want Jameis 101 to pull up the Jameis Winston cold weather stats. I want those on my desk by tomorrow morning.
Where's Alan Ulrich? I know he's got.
Don't forget to put a cover page on your TPS report.
What about the
James
Saints Bears NFC Championship game? Did that have snow?
2006.
A little bit.
The Giants.
It was a little. There was some flurries.
Yeah.
Field was frozen. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to the 2021 season, not necessarily schedule related, Andrew, but you know, we talked about this a little bit on one of the daily shows, but I want to bring Dave into it because I think it's interesting. You know, in 2020, fans and I think people in general were much more sympathetic to players when they got the Rona. Even Kamara with his thing in the bar and Emmanuel Sanders, you could tell Sean Payton was really pissed off. He's like, I knew how he got it. I think this year with the vaccine, if you have a key Saints player or any Saints player test positive and they miss 2 weeks and then they stay ill and they don't play well or they miss 3 or 4 weeks, I think fans are going to be much less sympathetic because they're going to be like, why did you not get vaccinated? Just for an example, Michael Thomas, you missed 4 freaking weeks. We were 9-3. Now we're 9-7, and we're going to miss the playoffs. Why did you not get vaccinated? So I think players, it's going to be an interesting dilemma for them in that I wonder if they understand, Andrew, the sort of shitstorm that will occur to them if they get the Rona. It will be much different than it was in 2020, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I kind of don't know what to expect from that. I do know that I think I agree with you. I think that people will have less tolerance in the sense that, you know, I think before it was like, you're a dumbass, you should have stayed at home, you should have been masked, like you shouldn't have gone out to the bar or whatever. But like, I mean, how long can you just expect someone to stay? At some point, like someone's gonna go out
And
make
you
a
couldn't
mistake or
prove, and
whatever.
you couldn't prove, and still you couldn't like prove that they got it by doing an activity or not doing an activity.
Right.
But like
But
vaccination,
now it's like, yeah, vaccines are available to everyone, and like you can get one. So like now it does seem like there's a little bit of a, well, this was preventable. You could have just gotten vaccinated.
and Dave, I don't know. I mean, not to make it political, I'm sure they have people that have their reasons for not taking the vaccine that listen to this podcast. But I just think that's all of that is going to go out of the window because we care so much about the Saints winning. Like, I just think there's going to be a fury with fans that are going to, and don't let it happen to a Saints quarterback that's starting. Don't let it happen to Jameis or Taysom. People will lose their minds. That's my opinion.
But I don't know, like there are vaccines that's still like, Johnson & Johnson is 78%. So like they may not disclose, you know what I'm saying? Like they may protect the player where like they wouldn't disclose whether they were vaccinated or not, because that's really none of our business. And then like,
but the media is going to ask them though, Andrew. Like if you're a player and you
I don't
you
think
miss,
I don't think the media. I don't think the media will. I don't think the media that's not professional to ask someone if they've been vaccinated.
I think I disagree there. Dave is frozen. Dave man.
Yeah, that is
Dave-
quite a look. That is.
D-
Look at that.
Dave, he looks.
Very
His
concerned.
face looks like me trying to say a Debo. His
Ralph
it's
can't
like
say anyone's name right.
He looks like he just found out that Michael Thomas tested positive for COVID and was unvaccinated. Was not vaccinated.
Thomas,
Yeah.
I want you to make that a meme that we can use in the Discord. By the way, if you are a patron and you aren't in the Discord is amazing. It's free. It's part of supporting the show. Sign up. If you're not a patron, the Discord might be the number one reason to become a patron. It's so much fun in there. Exactly.
Agreed.
So hopefully Dave can get back. But Thomas, we have been doing something really fun. Andrew, how long have we been doing our bracket nonsense? We've been doing it
7, 8
4?
years. Yeah.
No, yeah,
5.
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it was.
I think you were about to say 4. I was about to say 8.
I mean, it's been a while. I think it was.
Actually, you know what? I
held idea.
We always do it. We always do it on that challenge website.
Yeah, we do it on the challenge, and
I
basically,
can probably find our last one, our oldest one.
yeah, but basically, we do it as everybody has a goddamn podcast now. Everybody has a Saints podcast, but we've been doing this podcast since me and Kevin's doing 06. Andrew and Dave, Dave was with us shortly after that. Andrew's been with us 10, 11 years. And we've been doing this podcast ever since Bounty Gate. We've been doing it every week. So we are always like, my God, how do we fill the time between the draft and training camp? The bracket is a great way to fill the time. This year, in honor of Drew Brees, we are doing the Drew's worst decision bracket ever.
Look at that.
And was this Dave's idea or your idea?
I honestly don't remember.
And whoever's it was, I was like, that is dumb. We can't come up with 16. We got to have at least 16 of these. This isn't going to work. And I remember either you and Dave just went back and forth, and within like 10 minutes, we had a bracket of 17 of like Drew Brees bad decisions. Like we have Yahoo Finance, we have Jimmy John's, we have him investing in Blue Diamonds, we have his fashion decisions at his press conferences, fashion decisions at the Super Bowl at the Super Bowl parade. We have what else? We have any food decision that he makes. He's made a lot of questionable decisions, Andrew.
I mean, look at these pictures. Look at that hat. Look at that shirt that he's wearing. That was to his signing day to announce his official signing with the Saints. That was the shirt, and you're not getting full perspective here. You're not getting a chance to see how oversized and terrible it is, and the fact that it's short sleeved, a short sleeve button down, which in general I maintain is unacceptable. But anyway. That's neither here nor
and
there.
his hair plugs too. That's
more recent. So
guy.
there's lots of fun stuff to talk about with Drew, and going on Yahoo Finance is one. But obviously we love Drew, and but it's a fun thing that we do. And actually, I'm looking back right now, and it looks like in 2014, March of 2014, that was our first ever bracket. So it was 7 years ago.
Wow.
Was the last time we did this. It was Field of 64. It was worst Saint ever. That was the bracket that we did. Knocked out in the final four was Rick Venturi and every Hazlitt linebacker. Runner up was Jason David, and the winner was Mike Ditka.
Yeah, that's a strong winner. No argument there.
Yeah,
no argument
strong
there. So we've been.
I am a little surprised Heath Schuler didn't go a little further, but
yeah. But the thing is, I feel like for worst Saint ever, probably as I think back at that bracket, one of the arguments that was sort of like a tiebreaker was like how much long-term damage did you cause to the Saints, right? Like, to be the worst Saint ever,
Right.
like Heath Schuler didn't even play like 10 games for the Saints, right?
Right.
So like
right.
his long-term damage wasn't immense. Like Ditka,
It's kind of like Browner. It's like, yeah, we had an awful year, but we immediately got rid of him and never thought about him again. You know.
Yeah. Which is an interesting thing because you have to be in this weird place where like Ditka just caused massive amounts of damage to the Saints for 3 years, and on his way out nearly dropped a nuclear bomb by trading away a future first that ended up being the second pick in the draft. So, but back to the main point, the bracket, and Dave, I think Dave is back with us, but that's the fun of the bracket. Like it just it helps us fill the time. Dave, are you back?
Yeah, I am. Did I miss the bracket?
Yeah, we were talking about.
We're actually done with the bracket. We started and finished it.
No, but Dave, I want you to toot your horn because I said I think, Dave, it was either you or Kevin's idea.
It was definitely
and
mine.
I was like, that's a terrible idea. We'll never be able to come up with enough entries, and you did it in like by yourself in like 5 minutes on text message.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people forget how many mistakes Drew Brees has made in his career. It's a lot.
One of my underrated favorites in there is throwing the ball to Zach Strief.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Actually, I mean, the funny thing is that we didn't have enough, and then the hair plug thing happened. I was like, there we go. We got a tournament. That was the last one. We just needed one more, and he went and gifted us one last miracle. Yeah. One last Hail Mary.
It's going to be fun. And now, the Mora one last year is probably my all-time favorite, just because we had sound for it, right? And the Mora sound like really brought it to life. But we have Thomas now, and he's got graphics. He's got the little preview graphic. He's going to make.
I love this graphic. I love I love this Drew's worst decision graphic. Presented by Advocare, JJ's and Yahoo. Fine. Jimmy Johnson, Yahoo. Fine.
You like that there's a little diamond in there?
Yeah,
yeah. You see the diamond?
You got to put. You didn't put walk-ons on there.
I feel like
did
Oprah
Winfrey trying to wipe off his birthmark, thinking it was lipstick? Is that in there? Is that in the tournament?
It might be. It might be.
I hope that made it.
This graphic that Thomas made,
decision.
It doesn't matter.
You could almost
going on the show.
Drew Brees' worst decision off of it and put up like Drew Brees is running for city council, and like it could be like a city council like lawn sign.
Do you really want this guy running your government?
No, not the guy on the right, maybe with that the newsy boy cap. The guy on the left, that shirt in public is a hate crime. Like, my wife would divorce me if I wore that in public.
My wife.
That's why she dresses you, so she doesn't have that problem.
That's right. That's why she dresses me. So
I can't believe Brittany let him out of the house with that shirt. To go sign a $50 million contract, no less.
So, Thomas, fire up the music. We got to get to this week's questions. I'm waiting for it to kick in. Cripple hand. Become a patron, goddammit. Do it. All right. The music still is very heated discussion. People love it. They hate it. They think it's too low. They think it's too loud. Very, very controversial on Discord, just so you know. So, Thomas.
Yep.
Start us off. What do we got?
First question is from Twitter from Who Dat Boss. Who Dat? If we could only pick one, Quan or Sherman?
Sherman or Quan?
I would take.
You can only have one. That's a good question, Andrew.
I would take Sherman only because Quan. We're not so sure what he's going to look like on the other side of this injury.
Andrew?
Yeah, I agree, Sherman.
Quan, how dare you people?
Oh yeah,
dare
LSU.
you.
Sorry, Quan.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
How dare you?
What next?
Yes. Sorry.
Next question is from Christmas from our Discord. It's obvious that RAS stands for Ralph Andrew Shit. Why won't you admit it?
By the way, Chris Moss is my burner account.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
It's my burner.
Ralph
Go ahead,
Andrew
Dave.
shit.
Take a fucking victory lap.
I'm not saying
Boy.
anything.
He can't take a victory lap until the guys actually suck. If the
Yeah,
draft
well-
is awesome, then Dave can eat his own words.
No, and
Yes.
No, that's correct. No, that part is correct. But I just feel like I have to make myself clear. Like, I think the RAS is a useful measurement and should be used.
The Ralph Andrew shit. You gotta
correct.
use the proper term. please.
That Ralph Andrews shit, I think, should definitely be used and be taken into account. I just don't think it should be the only thing that you use to draft. But
I just don't
anyway.
understand how you could think you need anything beyond Ralph Andrew shit. I mean, that's enough, isn't it?
What
I guess
next?
so. I guess so.
Next question is from TP. What if Peyton Turner is better than Pay? What is the difference in the media hype between the two? The teams they play for?
Kwity
That's a good
Paye.
question, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I mean Kwity Paye is more productive in college, so I think Peyton Turner's a little bit on spec. So, he played in 6 games and he had Ralph, 5 sacks this past
Yeah.
year, and that's really the only time he's produced. And so, you get limited sample size, not very many games, but obviously he has the high RAS score. He looked like Godzilla in Tokyo against Tulane. He's had some really nice tape this year only, and it was limited games. So we think could be really good. He's an ascending player, but Kwity Paye has way more of a sample size, and he's been productive at a higher level, playing against better competition. So I would say that's the difference between the two. But I will say Peyton Turner probably has a higher ceiling.
It's
Lower
a fair,
floor, higher ceiling.
It's
Higher
a
RAS.
fair. It's a fair
Yeah.
comparison. It's a fair Kwity Paye has a cooler name though.
He does.
What next?
Next question is from Badrich. If the top 3 picks all record their best games against division opponents, are they the best draft class this year or ever?
No.
I mean, here's the thing.
We had a draft
What?
class where we had the offensive and defensive rookies of the year.
Yeah.
What would Pete Werner have to do to top this?
Interception! Matt Ryan! Oh mein Gott! Wie eine Puppe gibt ihn den Stiffarm und er fliegt auf den Boden. Hör doch mal auf.
For
See,
any Saints 2021 draft.
Here's the
What would they
thing
have
about
to do to
that
top
play
it?
that Shai Tuttle did, and he was a rookie when he made that play, right? Was he a rookie?
Right.
I think he was. I don't think that can be topped because not only was that play amazing in real time, you saw it happen, the stiff arm, the hilarity of the fat guy interception, all of it. It was an amazing experience on its own. And then the German call was discovered after all that, and it just became an even bigger legend. So I don't know what any of these guys could do that would come close to topping that.
I mean, maybe like Pete Werner could have like a buttception in German, like Lattimore.
Exception.
Oh, buttception! No, I mean it's got to be something we've never seen before, right?
Yeah.
Something that would top the meet round.
It's got, and I mean, Budger's is saying like against NFC South opponents, but come on, I mean, we're talking about the Falcons here. Like they got to do something amazing against the Falcons.
You know, I'll tell you what Peyton Turner could do that would it might not top Shy Tuttle, but if he ended Tom Brady's career, that
Oh, you mean
Man.
like Bobby McCray, Kurt Warner style?
yeah, I'm talking like Bobby McCray, Kurt Warner type situation, where like it's a wrap, and it's Pete Warner that did it or Peyton Turner that did it. First of all, if a Saints player ended Tom Brady's career, he probably wouldn't see him again until 2023, because Goodell would suspend him and then suspend him again. But it'd be pretty close to Shy Tuttle, I think, Dave.
I'll take it. I was thinking something a little more whimsical, like
Whimsical.
like Pete Warner like intercepts a pass because like the ball gets stuck in his face mask and he just keeps running with it with the ball in his face mask.
Like Featherstone and Necessary Roughness.
Yeah, and
I
it's
like
a pick six.
Yeah, I like whimsy better than dark. Even
Well,
though
I don't
hate
know.
Pete
I mean, the
Brady.
whole Tom Brady thing. I mean, it does sound kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
What next?
Okay, next, last question, which is dedicated to Don Cariello from the Wicker Man.
Oh my gosh.
How soon after Peyton Turner gets his first sack is Dave gonna pretend he always liked the pick?
He's got that tweet. He's got that tweet in draft with Stephen Colbert pointing at the thing saying "I told you so." Like Dave, you got that tweet already loaded, right? Dave?
I am a straight shooter. If I am wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. I will be happy to be wrong. I would love it if Peyton Turner becomes a 10-sack defensive end. Somebody's got to do it. And I have no problem admitting that. I will never go against. I feel how I feel now. This is what we do. This is the business we're in. We make our hot takes in the moment with our emotions involved in it, and we wait to see what happens. So I'm okay with it. Plus, I'm right.
We'll see.
Like Dave, how
That is
long?
stupid. Wake up.
How long do you ride the Peyton Hill sucks wave though? Like, what would it take for you to finally say, "Okay,
Hill,
yeah,
was that a Ralphism right there?
Sorry, Peyton.
Not a
Turner.
full Ralph. Like
Yeah, semi Ralph.
Ralph can't say anyone's name right.
So yeah, I mean, like Peyton Turner gets like 2 sacks in 4 games to start the year.
That would be good. That would be way better than I would be expecting.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes.
So
sure.
so basically, if you see anything remotely positive,
What did Marcus?
You're quick to flip.
Hold on, I'm going to look up what Marcus Davenport did his rookie year, and if it's anything better than that, I'll give it to you.
Wow. Okay.
Marcus Davenport. I want to say
didn't he kind of flash a little?
he
4.5 sacks as a rookie.
He came alive that Sunday night game when the Saints housed Minnesota, and also injured himself in the same game. Like it was his coming out party and his season wrap party, which is kind of like peak Marcus Davenport.
Peyton Turner finished
like that game is the total Marcus Davenport experience where he flashes and you're like, oh my God, he's going to be awesome. Oh, he's hurt.
If Peyton Turner finishes this season with 5 sacks, I would be. I'll consider that a loss on my end and a win on your end for sure.
Yeah. So Thomas, fire up the music. We got to wrap it up tonight. But once again, guys, support the show. I know we have a lot of new people that listen, and I see the reviews on Apple, and all you people complain that listen to the free show. I hate the commercials. It's too many commercials. You know who listens to the show without commercials? Patrons. We give them the ad-free versions of the show. If you don't like the commercials, Become a patron. You never have to listen to any of them. So for Andrew, for Dave, for Kevin, who's MIA, off with his lady friend, Doctor, I'm Ralph. Remember, kids, don't shoot your dick off. Until next week, the bar is closed.
Gotta get a holster for that thing.